So we've been a bit short on car reviews this week. And that's because when the update dropped last week, first off, I was quite happy because, you know, Kaio week, Panther week, you've got to love that. Great week to build up money. Not a great week to spend it. Now, one thing I would say is the fact that they don't bring the Panther back very often and that we know we've got a DLC coming, that does make me worry that they're telling us that this DLC is going to be very, very expensive.
$100 billion.
But that aside, there just wasn't anything that I could recommend that you buy. I mean, the Micheli GT is in there and that's a good looking car, but it is quite slow. So that's something you either want or you don't. And I don't think a review would convince you either way. You've either got that alpha itch that you need to scratch or you don't have it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to review this, the much maligned Slamtruck. And it is much maligned for a reason, but I'm going to review it well because I think this thing is super cool. But I'm also going to say I don't think you should rush out and buy it even though it's on offer, and we'll come back to why in a second. So what is this thing? Well, it's based on a 56 Ford COE. COE meaning cab over engine, which in the UK and through a lot of Europe, that's kind of what we're used to. Most of our trucks are like this, that you have the flat fronted cab with the engine underneath you. But in the US and Australia, I think it's due to the fact that the restrictions on the length of the trucks is different. You tend to have the more traditional trucks with the engine out the front. So that's what this is. It's a COE cab over engine. And let's be honest, if you've got a £200,000 custom hot rod, this is the only way to move it around if it's a bit of a trailer queen. Not that you can move anything around in the game, because this, in Rockstar's infinite wisdom, is a car transporter that can't transport cars. Yeah, I'm not sure how they came to that decision. There is nothing you can do to keep a car on the back of this, no matter what car you put it on, no matter what way you put it on, whether it's forwards, backwards, sideways, upside down. Even if you have someone in the car on the back, you just cannot keep a car on the back of this thing for any length of time. So in terms of usefulness, that puts it up there with, you know, flightless birds.
Flightless birds. What is the point of a flightless bird? Birds are meant to fly. That's why they're called birds.
But just look at it. It's gorgeous. And that startup sound, let's just listen to that again. So it is a really cool thing, and there's some decent customization. You can make this thing look really super cool. Mine is based on this one, but there are so many options to make this thing look super cool. Now, earlier I did say I was going to review it well, and not because it's quick, because, you know, spoiler alert, it isn't, but because it's gorgeous. But why, after all that, am I saying that you shouldn't buy it? Well, that's because you can get this thing free, and almost everyone who's played this game for a decent amount of time should be able to get this free with minimal effort. But how? Well, that's to do with the career progress. So if you head into the pause menu and scroll over to special interests. Now at the moment this is just for expanded and enhanced, but if you're on PC you'll get this pretty soon, we think. And if you head into Vehicle Enthusiast, you'll see there are 4 tiers. And if you look at what you have to do for these, most of this is stuff that you're just going to do just through playing the game. So let's have a look through these. So you need to own a 10-car garage, customize a vehicle, and own a Pegasus vehicle. You're pretty much all going to have done that. You need to test drive from Premium Deluxe, upgrade at Benny's, and do a HSW upgrade. For tier 3, upgrade an arena vehicle, do an Imani Tech, and this is one of the tricky ones, do your 5 gold medals in flight school. We'll come back to that. And then on the last one, tier 4, this is where some of the tricky ones are. So you need to unlock 10 platinum awards, own 100 vehicles, fair enough, own each class of vehicle, but then customize 50 vehicles. So the tricky one on here that we'll look at first is unlocking the 10 platinum awards. So what does that look like? Well, to get to that, head over to your stats and go down to awards, then head down to vehicle, and you'll see the 10 awards that you need to get. Now, most of these you are going to get, so blow up a vehicle, easy. This relates to the Simeon's export vehicles, so every day you'll get a text message from Simeon, go steal one of those cars and drop it off at the docks. And if you keep looking through, most of these are just things you're going to be doing anyway. The flip ones and the spin ones, just find a nice jump like the one near the airport. One bit of advice there is when you get in the air, if you hold down the handbrake button, you can actually keep the car flat while you spin it round to make the spins a little bit easier, because you do need to land on your wheels for that one. So of all of those, the awkward ones are the Simeon ones, because you can only do one a day, but then also no claims bonus, because there's no easy way to do this, or there's no fun way to do this, shall we say. You just need to head over to the airport, and if you can do it carefully without inducing stick drift, I would be tempted to lean something on your controller to keep the accelerator pressed and the steering wheel on full lock, and then just go and make a cup of tea or have a beer, because there's no way you're going to be able to spend any time on a map for half an hour and not hit anything. So that's the way I would deal with that. Let it run round in circles, go and have a cup of tea, come back, and you will have that award bossed. And then the last one is flight school. Now, you don't need to do all of it, you just need to get 5 golds. And I found that these 5 were the easiest to achieve. There are quite a few guides on this. I'm not going to do a guide on it because I absolutely suck at flight school, as you can see from this attempt to get another one of the gold medals here. So that's how you get this thing for free. So I guess now the question is, should you? Well, I would say yes, not because it's good, but just because it looks cool. I mean, mine sits in my auto shop, and it really suits the business. It suits the whole vibe of the cars that I've got in there. It just, for no other reasons, it's a purely aesthetic choice. It's just like having a painting in there. Even though it does suffer from a bit of a glitch, which means you can't actually drive it out of the auto shop, because every time you do, it just puts it straight back in. So you have to go out into the street and call it. But when you're actually out driving in it, it does attract a lot of attention. Whenever you pull this out in a session, someone's going to try and get on the back and try and stay on it all the way around, and spoiler alert, they won't. So from this week, this is probably the best car we've got for you, but even on that, I would say don't buy it. Go and check your career progress, go and check your awards in your stats for the vehicles, see how far off you are claiming this thing, because it's even on sale, it's still quite an expensive vehicle. And when you look at the things that you've got to do, if you've been playing this game for more than a year, you'll probably find that you didn't realise you've actually achieved most of those awards anyway. And it might be that you just need to put an hour or so in to doing the work you need to finish it off, with the exception of the Simeon missions. But the Simeon missions, the Simeon's export list, should I say, they're really easy. You'll get one text every day. That's real day, not in-game day. You can only do one a day, and you don't get the text till, I believe, you've been in the session for 5 minutes. So the Simeon ones will take you a little while to get through, but you can just plod through them while you're doing other things, and you do get paid for doing them anyway. So that's it for this week, and let's hope that next week they give us something to spend our money on. But as I said earlier, just be a little bit careful, because if they're bringing the Panther back and doing a heist week, that could mean that this DLC is going to be quite an expensive one. So if you're a little bit short on cash, now might be a good time to start grinding some money out and start saving up. So here's the time this one managed to do, and here's where it sits on the lapboard. Now you might be waiting a while for this lapboard to scroll through. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you all in the next one.